everybody. It's your girl, Sherry, and welcome back to another episode of Alleged Actually Podcast. I am joined by my Bravo bestie, Joey. What's up, Joey?
What's up?
Hey. You ready to talk all things Beverly Hills and Salt Lake City?
Let go.
All right. So as I said, guys, tonight is another double recap. We're going to be talking about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and Salt Lake City. And before we get into it, if you haven't yet, go ahead, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and slide in our comments so you can let us know what you thought of both episodes. We're going to start off with Beverly Hills. Joey, what did you think of Tuesday night's episode?
You know, it wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't my favorite. It was a little redundant. I feel like poor Kathy put together this amazing trip, and they're just ruining
it. Really, ruining it.
And we keep talking about the same thing, which I feel like that's maybe the season that we're in. But I mean, honestly, thank God for Bose and Jennifer Tilly really bringing some comic relief to all this, because
yes. Otherwise, we would have been in middle school drama of I'm not your friend anymore, and here's why.
Yeah, exactly. It does feel very elementary. I agree.
Yes, it did. Well, with that being said, I agree, Joey, but we're going to get into the recap. And the episode opens up just kind of where we left off. They're still at the table. Dorit and Kyle are still going at it. And basically, this is Dorit's chance to get, like she said multiple times in the episode, everything off of her chest. And that she does. So basically, her argument with Kyle was that there's two sets of rules, and that Kyle expects Dorit to give her some sort of blind loyalty to a fault. And she also was saying how she can make comments and stuff, but Kyle can. But if she makes a misstep, Kyle has a habit of punishing her by not speaking to her for months. She even mentioned 6 months. That's really petty. I'm
for things that aren't even big. She didn't talk about your marriage. She didn't attack you or your family. It was these little comments, and the 6 month silent treatment. What?
That's crazy. I was good gracious. She did good to hold it in that long, and I'm
and to remain, I feel very blindly loyal during all that. Not me. Couldn't be me.
Couldn't have been me either, honey. When they were at reunions and stuff, there was a united front. Who would have known that for the silliest of things, she ghosted her or not spoke to her for months? That's crazy, but
crazy.
Yeah, but that was the thing. And we even had Sutton co-signing and saying, Kyle, you definitely do that. We saw in the last episode or the episode before last where they sat together and Sutton told her, that does seemed to be her go-to, and Kyle said she was going to work on it. And so without doing what I told Joey I did, writing down every detail, not going to hold you guys. Basically, there was just a lot of examples of why Dorit is so mad. There was pettiness, everything from when Dorit made the joke on Kyle's fashion show, which I thought was funny, to Kyle saying, well, you went for my business. I wouldn't do that to you. And then we find that I didn't even remember that scene, but I guess Dorit had a decorating business or something. I don't remember.
It was remember she made that room in that restaurant that no one had ever, they were all joking around that they had never heard of, Lisa Vanderpump and that Buca de Beppo or something.
Yeah. She kept saying, I was
and
what?
She made that Capri room, and all the ladies dogged her in the confessionals about that room and that restaurant.
Yeah.
And Dorit didn't let it bother. I mean, maybe she did, but she didn't hold them to the fire about it. Again, Dorit is right. Kyle does have a different set of rules for herself as she does for everybody else.
True.
She can dish it, but she truly can't take it.
True. So yeah, she gives detailed examples, and hers, they were petty on both sides, semi, but you certainly got Dorit's point. I mean, it did seem like Kyle was really, she brought up the whole thing of, look, you didn't treat Erica that way. And Kyle tried to say, well, Erica only did the one thing, which was, okay, let me get that right. Well, the first thing she did was the text that Dorit shared with her. And it was Erica that said, if she'd have sent me that text, I'd have felt manipulated. So that was the first time we hear the word manipulated in regards to the text. And that's when Kyle said, well, that was the one thing. And she was like, oh, no, no, no. Then we flash back to Watch What Happens Live when Erica was
Yeah.
like, okay, I just hope basically that at the reunion time, because Kyle had the big story on that season, that like Erica, when she had the big scandal with her ex-husband, that she would be eviscerated just as Erica was. That's her words. And and she had a point. Erica came in and said, look, I was just trying to, make sure that the treatment was equal. I understood where Erica was coming from. Kyle was like, well, that's how I took it. But let's be clear. Had that been Dorit,
Oh, different reaction.
totally different. So she totally made her point. We hear you, Dorit. Now I wanted to say Sutton tried to play peacemaker at the dinner, and
I was actually very impressed that all the women were kind of like very quiet. Like there wasn't a lot of like jumping in like we're normal to seeing. It was odd almost that they like all sat there and just like let them go back and forth and didn't jump in, didn't really take sides a lot. It was weird.
It was weird. It was eerily quiet, even at the end of the scene where you see Kathy and Dorit sip their wine, and then just it gets Bose his chugs the rest of hers, because it's kind of like I feel like they just were feeling the tension, and they almost just didn't know what to say, and which was obvious because no one really said anything. Sutton tried to help by saying that Kyle had acknowledged some things. She thought it was fixable, and I think in that moment I don't think Dorit was really looking for resolution, though they did semi get there. Now, I have to mention this, even though it's hurting my heart to do so, but the comment when they were going back and forth that Garcelle comes in and makes.
We've talked about how I feel about Garcelle. I loved her when she first came out. I thought she was a breath of fresh air. She's so stagnant. I don't know what purpose she serves on like the show. Like I don't feel like she has a storyline. She's like not very interesting. I don't know. Like, and that comment, like, this is her purpose. She stirs the pot when it's already being stirred. Like, there was just like no need. There was not. I don't know. I want to like her because I think that she could be funny. I think that she's different than these other pretentious women. I just no, I'm just not here for it.
I know. I wasn't here for it either. And I love Garcelle too. I mean, I wanted to, but like that was completely unnecessary. Basically when Kyle is telling her that she feels like Dorit gives fake apologies. And Dorit was like, no, I'm happy to own everything I've done. And whenever someone lets me know I've done something wrong, first thing I say is I'm sorry. And Garcelle says no. And I was confused, like, huh? And it's the way she did it. She was just like, no.
Jonesing to say something the whole fight, I'm telling you.
No. And I was like, girl, you could have kept that to yourself. Dorit was like, pardon. And she was like, no. Dorit was like, no, what? She's like, no, I would not agree with that. What she was saying in terms of you can't just say you're sorry. And so Dorit's like, well, you don't agree. She says, no, I don't. She agrees with Kyle, basically. And she said, well, I'm not surprised that you agree with Kyle. I got to give Dorit her credit on that. She clapped right back, and Garcelle deserved it. She basically said, look, I'm not surprised you agree with her. Let's be honest. I'm not your favorite person. You're very clear about that. So I wouldn't expect you to not agree with what she has to say. Garcelle says, okay, great. Then we're on the same page. And Dorit says, okay, we are. And Garcelle was beautiful, but I was so proud of her because I was like, she's not backing down, honey.
No, she's finally, I feel like, I don't know, she finally found like a voice. I wonder how much is her own doing and how much is like production being like, girl, you gotta find your own
Yes.
voice, like, like bring it.
I was thinking a lot of that because she is so activated. Because we'll get to the point, to the part in the episode with her and Sutton and all that. I think some of it is a little bit kind of coerced by production a little bit. I don't know if you were hearing the rumors that she might have been on the chopping block for this
Yes, I
episode
did
or
hear
this
that, which doesn't
season.
surprise me. I
No,
thought she was on the chopping block for like seasons and seasons and seasons. She was really bringing nothing.
she really wasn't.
She was
Except
just
other than
bringing
Kyle.
like lapdog. Kyle's lapdog
Yeah,
is all she
Kyle.
was bringing.
Yep. True that. True that. So with that being said, since there was grumblings about her and PK, from what I've read, she had to come and be transparent about that and really bring it if she was going to stay on the show. So bring it. She did, and if you remember, she put out the statement about their separation before they dropped this season. So, I mean, she was already laying the groundwork that she was definitely going to have a storyline. So,
Yeah, I agree.
yeah. So at this point, everybody is kind of like ultra uncomfortable. You see poor Erica with her head down, and it's just. And I'm with you. Kathy put together this amazing trip, and they're just awkward moments and just a lot of unnecessary childishly back and forth. But Kyle in confessional says that she came in tonight looking for resolution and that Dorit came in looking for a fight. And she said the girl that she just sat with that was screaming at her, she didn't know who that was. And she probably doesn't. I mean, she's not used to seeing that side of Dorit.
No, definitely not. But I also feel like there's like so much more going on with Kyle. Like, you know me, I'm like not a Kyle fan like at all.
Yeah.
But I just feel like this season, it's just different. I feel like she has like so much like weighing on her. I don't know. Something's like very off, maybe obviously in her personal life. I mean, obviously, but
Yes.
I just think like, she's not talking about Morgan. I think that set her for like a loop like last season. I was actually very surprised to see her back this season. I really thought after like the season she had like last season, I thought that she would take some time off and focus on her. But I think that just like all these like rumors and all this stuff like Mauricio, I dare to say, because I don't like her necessarily, but I kind of feel for her,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I can't imagine what it must feel like to be going through all these different things in like on a TV show in the public eye. I just this really isn't Kyle. Like I feel like she's very different. She just like looks sad every time she's on like the screen.
She does look very sad, and I think what I was gonna say was I know she said. Now I'm losing my thought, but when you were the reason that she came back, she said that there was so much change in her life that she really felt like, she'd been doing this for 14 years or however many years, and that to not film Beverly Hills would feel like another loss, like a death. And so that's why she kind of went with it. I wouldn't be surprised though if she's not regretting it. She does seem sad. She seems like a shell of herself. And I agree. God knows I'm not a Kyle fan either. But it's like when you watch these shows for so long, even though you have those that you like more than others, you still quietly you root for them. You don't want to see them suffer. I mean,
right.
You do, but but overall you don't, because they become like, they're on your TV screens in your living room every week, right? So
yeah,
I agree, Joey. She does seem kind of really like very sad.
Very sad. Like she's like in like some sort of pain, like turmoil. I just like, I mean, I hope for better for her.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that outside of the show, she does have a good support system, because I don't know if that's really on the show or not,
Yeah.
I do feel for her, and I hope that things do get better for her, in all honesty.
I agree. Well, for our next scenes, the ladies are getting ready for the nice boat day, more like yacht day. Um, Jennifer puts on her monogram straw hat, which is gifted to her by Kathy. Bose is talking to her daughter, and she's talking about the cute outfit that her daughter bought for both of them, for them. And she tells her daughter that she would like to match her every single day, and then she gets crickets from her daughter. So I can relate. She likes to twinsy with her daughter. Yeah, but yeah, her daughter's not having it. But Sutton and Garcelle are talking in the room, and they talk more about. Well, Sutton says that she felt like with the fighting, all the fighting going back and forth, they both said they felt like they were in divorce court. And Garcelle says in confessional she doesn't know what will happen in this fight with Kyle and Dorit, but this one felt different. And I guess that's why they were quiet. You know, she says this time it feels like it's coming from like betrayal and hurt, not just well, you didn't do this or whatever. She's like, she feels like it's deeper. And so I think that's why we were seeing.
Which I agree. It does feel different.
It does. It does. Yeah. So Kyle is in the room talking with Kathy and Erica. And Kathy says she's encouraging her to share her feelings, but she's like, you know what? I've already done that. I want to keep today light and have fun. And so everyone's gathering together to get ready for the boat. Kyle said she feels awkward. Everybody's coming in. Dorit comes in and she says hi, but you know, Kyle's kind of like, oh. And she says she's ready to go back to punishing her.
Hi.
Sure. I mean, Dorit's like, hey, I'm gonna keep rocking on. It's whatever. I told you how I felt. I'm standing on it. Kyle just doesn't know what to do with it. And she said that she feels awkward and she's getting ready to, she would like to go back to punishing her. In other words, I guess, not speak to her for months again. So that was her attempt to try to be funny. I was like, oh girl, no. Kathy comes down and has a surprise for everybody. What were these vehicles, Joey? Were they like, I'm like, I don't know if are they little golf cart, fancy little.
So the only time I've seen a Moki before that was in last season of New York.
Okay.
When they were in Anguilla, they rented those. Remember they rode them to like the beach and like the beach bars?
Now that you mention it, yes, I do.
So I was actually surprised to see them in California. Again, I don't know much about them. Like I'm from Connecticut. Like, what do I know? We don't have those.
Right. We don't have North Carolina either. That I know of anyway.
But yeah, I was actually surprised to see them in California. Maybe they're like a beach thing. Not a Connecticut beach thing, but
not a North Carolina beach thing either.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know like I'm sure they look like so much fun.
God, did they not? And the fact that Kathy had each one, they had a driver in each one. I mean, Kathy, she really spared no detail. I was like, yes, ma'am.
Not surprised.
No.
I'm just trying to go on a Kathy Hilton trip.
Me too. And speaking of that, and I know I get off subject sometimes, but the Christmas party, all the pictures are coming out, everybody in Bravo, and
yeah,
what was there?
A mini BravoCon, like what?
It was. How cool was that? DirecTV, I guess, sponsored it with her or whatever. But I mean, it seemed like all the Bravo libs were there.
I know. Jealous.
Yeah. Very jealous. A couple of the YouTubers were there too. Real jealous.
One day we'll get there.
One day. All right, Kathy, next year. Me and Joey. We got a list. Anyway. So they get to that fabulous yacht. And off the rip, Sutton is crushing on Captain Theo.
You know, unpopular opinion, I just like love Sutton. I just think that she is I think she's great TV. I think she's so interesting because she's so odd. Like, I wonder if it wasn't for like the show, I really don't think like she'd be friends with any of these women. But I just love her. Even when she's crazy and she flies off the handle, I find her fascinating.
I think she is too. I think and one thing about Sutton I love is it just seems like, I mean, it's her. I don't see any kind of.
No, it is her. You're right.
It's her. Yeah, I love it. She's very quirky and yeah, I find there's multiple layers to Sutton. She's very well traveled, well versed, very well cultured, and yet quirky and weird. And I'm here for her.
Super awkward. like, yeah, I don't know. I love her.
I do too. I do too. Yes. Y'all slide in the comments. Let us know. Are you Sutton fans too?
Could be
So,
dicey.
huh?
Could be dicey. I don't know if she has a ton of fans or not, but
I don't know. Yeah. Yay. So, y'all, Sutton asked how Dorit and Kyle are feeling since the dinner fight. And Dorit's like, she got everything off her chest, so she feels better. And Kyle actually let Kyle go first. And Kyle just appreciates that and then she starts to get emotional. She said they're both going through a lot. They need to focus on that. And Dorit says what is, odd is that at this point their husbands are closer than ever, while her and Kyle couldn't be further apart. So, they both said that they're hopeful, and Dorit actually says that she's cautiously optimistic. And I think that's probably the best way to be. So at this point, oh, I thought it was funny. What did you think about Kathy trying to tell the chef how to prepare the food?
Classic Kathy. First, she's brushing her teeth with her eyebrow brush, which I just can't get over. And then telling the chef how to cook or barbecue, whatever. I mean, this is why she's so important to the show. She is.
She
just
is
so outrageous.
Yes.
I mean, again, people love her. Some people hate her. I think that she is, but I don't know if I want her as a full-time. I just love her where she is. It's the perfect scenario for her.
It is.
Plus, I think it's really good for Kyle to have her there, this season especially, and I like that. I love that they're in a good place.
Yes, me too.
And I love Kathy Hilton.
I do too. And I agree. I was going to say that I think particularly for this season, it's good to see her on more full time. I agree. I don't know if she needs to be on full on housewife every season, because after a while, I don't know that. But I mean, she brings the funny and the quirkiness, and she's Kathy Hilton. I mean, to give us this kind of access to herself, I think it's great.
Royalty.
Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah. So there's that, y'all. So let's see. Garcelle and Kyle decide to go off and talk, as does Dorit and Sutton. And for Sutton, I love how supportive she's being to Dorit. They haven't always been the best of friends.
Correct.
But I think it's refreshing to see, particularly with what Dorit is going through. I mean, Sutton, who's been there, as have most of the women, but for her, she particularly, I think, can understand with Dorit, because Dorit and PK have been married for years. And like she said, Dorit would always, profess her undying love for PK. And then for it to be here, I think she's just worried for Dorit. There's some kind of underlying.
Yeah, I think that she has relates to their kids were at the same age that they had separated first and then got divorced. And it took years. And this is what I love about Sutton. That was a real moment. And I believe that is who Sutton really is. She is that supportive friend. When you need me, lean on me. I'm here. Mm-hmm. It was great, and you're right. They have not always been close. So
no. And it speaks a lot about Sutton's character, the fact that she could put that aside and see that Dorit is hurting and can relate to her pain and offer her help, her support. She even said she'd go to court with her, honey. She's not playing. I believe her.
I do too.
Put it to steal.
100%. I agree.
Yes. So over with Garcelle and Kyle. Garcelle lets Kyle know that she's trying to figure out herself, her life without her boys. That, the boy, but you know what I thought about that? I'm not trying to be shady to Garcelle, but the boys are 16. She's got a couple more years. It's not like they're busting out ready to go. I was like, girl, you're stretching a bit,
But again, I think she's looking for something to talk about, because I feel like she doesn't have a lot going on, for the show purpose, right? And wasn't it just a couple seasons ago where the boys were well, when we needed you, you weren't really there, blah blah, whatever. So then for you to be well, my whole life's been my children, and now that they're getting older, what am I gonna do? I need to find me. I was just like not buying it. I don't
It was
know.
it was very disingenuous to me. I agree with you. It felt very fake, very, of course she's going to talk to Kyle about it because that, even though Kyle's a housewife and an actress as well, Kyle was very into being a wife and mother.
Oh,
I
that was
think
her whole life.
her whole life, for
Yeah.
real, for real. So Garcelle, and I don't doubt because that is a thing. I mean, I can relate to that, particularly, as your children are about and you're about to become an empty nester. That's a real thing. But I just felt like she was even said her career is booming right now. So it's like, girl, you don't really have a whole lot to be sad about. And you tried it, but okay.
Rich people problems. One day I hope to know.
Right. At any rate, so a little more with Dorit and Sutton. She lets Sutton know that she's never felt more alone, more vulnerable, more lonely. And back over though with Jennifer, Bose and Kathy, they ask Bose if they're going to meet her man. And we find out about Bose's man, Keeley, and that they met through his nephew. And she says that, they've been dating for 8 months, so it's still kind of new. She's very kind, successful, generous, and fine as hell. He's attractive. I wouldn't give him fine as hell, but
not. I was expecting more, and then when they showed like the picture, I was like,
I know. I was like, girl, you could have. But I'm like, I mean, it's not like he looks bad next to her. So,
and you know what? Good for her,
right? Because let me just say, as that conversation continued, when I say I could relate, when Jennifer was talking about, when they were talking about, Bose talking about who she dated before, that was the con artist and the liar. And Jennifer was like, yeah, same about the guy that made her slip her credit card under the table to listen. Let me just say, before I met my husband, I was out in these streets at 40, what was I? 41-ish, 2-ish? Child, I did not realize it was like that. I mean, I can like, you talk about men that lie about what they do, what they have, that are intimidated by, your success and the whole credit card thing. I mean, it didn't happen to me, but it happened to my sister right in front of my eyes. I was like, he whips out a Navy Fed card, and I was like, that's her card because she's underneath my account, sir. Like, really?
Oh, no.
Yes, it is rough in them streets. And so, y'all, it's not greener that's out there. I mean, little problems, and if you can work it out, work it out. Because listen, I'm holding on to my husband with both hands, both feet, and everything. I ain't going back out there. No, never. Because it is rough. So that conversation, I was like, even they're still broke over all the way in Beverly Hills too. I'm like, really? But yes, that is a thing.
I mean, I think that most people might feel broke next to
yeah.
Jennifer Tilly.
Jennifer Tilly, yeah.
And next to Bose.
But on the layman's term, even over here in North Carolina with little old me, it exists. Let me just say. Okay. Just saying. But at any rate, Bose lets us know that, she's good now. The horror story's over. And so Sutton, back over with Sutton and Dorit, she does let her know that she is feeling Captain Theo, and she wants Dorit to give him her number. But what was so funny to me, Kathy was already light years ahead as wing woman, honey, because she told Captain Theo, look, something's wrong with her legs. You're going to need to carry her out, sir. Like, way to go, Kathy.
So cute.
Was it not?
So cute, because Sutton's so awkward in these situations.
It's so
and
awkward.
The girls really rallied. They really came through for her.
Wasn't that sweet? Erica was like, hey, you single?
Yeah, and kudos for possibly the most normal boat ride we've ever seen in Housewives history.
Yeah, because boat rides usually go way left. That was nice and refreshing.
It was.
It really was. So I agree, Joey, because we've seen some disastrous yacht rides. We've seen the sailboats. They're all of them boats. I mean, usually they go very left, but This one went very well. I agree. So now the ladies are back and they're going to get ready for dinner. And Sutton is preparing her speech. I think she is feeling optimistic after the first dinner, after her trying to get the ladies to a decent place. She wants to write a speech, which is basically about sisterhood and friendship. And so at this point, they all are escorted to a beautiful table. Listen, these dinner tables. I mean, these arrangements across the middle and these settings and the fabulosity of it all. It's just giving me life. Love.
I know.
Yeah,
so. I love a dinner.
So do I. I loved. Well, I'm not gonna get off subject, but I'm just gonna say Orange County has some fabulous dinner tables too. I was like, good Lord. All right, back on task. But it's my ADD kicking in. Sorry, guys. Did you catch when they were asking about the Kathy nude thing, about how she has nudes in a safe in a bank?
In the bank?
Yeah.
But again, like, I feel like that's very on brand.
Agree.
You know, I mean, where else would she keep them?
Right. Right. And then she mentions the Caesar Palace with the beds, and I was like, okay, Kathy, enough. And how about Erica in confessional when she's like, ew?
Let me tell you, don't let Kathy Hilton fool you.
No.
She a freak.
She obviously is. Listen.
The new, again, I'm going to ADD for a second. The Simple Life reboot came out today on Peacock.
I have that on my list.
And there's a scene where Nicole and Paris are at Kathy's house and they're going through like a bunch of like old stuff, and and she literally has like laying out like intimate gel.
Oh wow!
And of course it's labeled with like a Post-it, so she like knows like what it is. But like, don't let that Kathy Hilton fool you.
I'm not mad at you, Kathy, honey. She had to be doing something to pull Rick Hilton, okay? So listen, not mad at you, Kathy. Write another book. Anyway, so they start picking on Garcelle a little bit, and because I don't know where this came from with Kathy. She's like, Garcelle, you're looking svelte over there, enjoying your food, like not caring about what you're eating, I guess is what she was getting at. Like,
Garcelle, let me tell you though, she looked good.
She did. She really did. I love the off-shoulder number she had. That was so pretty on her. I don't always like her outfits, but I did like that. I did.
I don't either, but I feel like this season, she's just like, she just like looks good. She
does look good. She does. I think she's feeling really good about how successful everything is. She's really doing her thing.
Yeah. And it's like coming outward. You can like see it. Like her whole aura is like different. I agree.
Yes. And that's why I guess Kathy was like, are you in love? She's like, I'm in love with life. And it does show. But Garcelle, Kathy was saying, look, you need to act helpless or something like Sutton. And she said she'd rather be alone than be on a date. We're in a kitty sweater and talking about her neuropathy, like the date last season with Sutton. And I can't remember his name, but...
Me either. Yeah. But you know what? And that is why Sutton and Garcelle's friendship is a real friendship. Because imagine if Dorit said that about Kyle. Never mind 6 months. That'd be a year of radio silence.
At least a year. At least. Yeah. But they just let that stuff roll off because they really care about each other.
And funny.
It's a joke, right? It's funny. Right. I agree. So Garcelle asked Dorit about reposting something that Teddy wrote. Here she goes again, y'all.
That's what I'm talking about. Ridiculous.
I know. And Kathy was like, what happened? And Dorit says Teddy tagged her on a post promoting her dad's concert. Now, did you catch that little shade when Kathy's like, oh, I don't follow her, so I wouldn't see it.
Same, Kathy, same.
Right. No, but we're not really feeling Teddy over here too much. No. At any rate, Kyle was letting them know it was a video of them singing on stage with Teddy's dad, John Mellencamp, and they flashed back to it. And so basically, Dorit's like, Well, she tagged me in it. I saw it was her promoting. Normally I wouldn't do it, but she's promoting her dad's concert, so I was happy to help promote it. Well, y'all, I had to give it to Kyle a little bit. I mean, I'm sure Dorit's heart was in the right place, but it did sound a little crazy. Kyle's like, so you mean to tell me John Mellencamp, Grammy Award winning Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, needs you to promote his concerts? Probably not.
No, I mean,
But
her heart was in like the right place.
I think so. I mean, she's
And
saying like,
Garcelle was just reaching for that one. That wasn't even like a big deal. Like, who cares?
right. Who cares? I mean, and if I was on stage singing with John Mellencamp, I'd repost it too.
Mm-hmm.
Care about Teddy?
Right.
Anyway, right. So Sutton asks all the ladies to stand, and she proceeds to read her speech. And they all get a little giggly about it, but she is serious. She means this. And Bose is like, well, Erica first is like, what are we in cheer camp, brownie camp, Girl Scout camp? You know, what's going on here? Bose is like, it's feeling very like, what in the incantation is going on here. She's like, I feel like after all this, I'm going to be Mrs. Sutton, because it did seem very ceremonial. But Sutton takes a ribbon and has everybody kind of bond together, and this ties them together as sisters. I thought it was a nice gesture. It was a little bit much, but
it was so cheesy, but like, you know what? I'm here for it. I always talk about how I love the moments of togetherness, and like, it was, I feel like, our first like real moment of togetherness on like this season.
Agreed.
I thought it was great. You know what? Kudos, Sutton. You keep doing you.
I agree. I mean, we needed to see some sort of semblance that these ladies actually do care about each other. I was here for it too, Joey. After that, now it's time for the ladies to get ready to go home. I mean, what more is there to do? They argued it up. I mean,
that was
really?
a quick trip, though. Huh?
It kind of was, wasn't it? I think it was like a couple days, but fabulous and all. It was a short trip, and they are getting ready to get on their Sprinter van. And Sutton reiterates her point from her speech the night before, and Dorit is co-signing with her, saying, yes, if we can all be open and honest, because she's reiterating the fact that they're going to be like sisters, friends, be able to talk things out. And then Sutton tries to bring up the moment that Erica whispered something to Kyle during the dinner. I didn't mention that before, but while Garcelle was coming for her about the Teddy thing, Erica made the comment that that's not what she said. She said that she did not say they weren't friends. She said they weren't close. Now, production has backed her up. That is actually indeed what she said.
Sure is.
So, Erica, you're wrong. But she tried to whisper to Kyle that I don't think that's what she said. And Sutton picked up on it and was trying to bring it up to make the point that this is what she's talking about. You shouldn't be doing that, talking about each other behind your back.
I'll do it.
I know.
And
but
girl, like Sutton, don't come for Erica Jane. Haven't you learned your lesson?
You would think, because Erica had her shook that one season. And listen, that's not who you want, Sutton. I think Erica took it well in the spirit of.
I agree.
She did, in the spirit of what Sutton was trying to do. She was like, everybody kind of saw her point, except for poor Dorit, who was hung up on the fact that she was picking up that they were trying to semantically say that she didn't say that her and Teddy weren't friends, and yet she was reposting it, and it was hypocritical, and that's not where Sutton was going with it. And in the mix, y'all, it became a shouting match. I hated that because it's just a big misunderstanding.
Right.
And I noticed that multiple times throughout this episode, they kept saying how they worried for Dorit that going through this kind of stuff may make you not your best self, or
yeah. And I also I didn't go back and rewatch, but from my recollection, Sutton didn't start screaming first. Dorit started screaming first.
That's right.
Which then activated Sutton. But Sutton does this often, where she just will be normal 1 minute, and then she flies off the handle and then the next.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know, you were pouring like a lot of vodka in like that cup on like the
Was
bus.
she?
Like,
I was not. I would. You know what is? I had that, but I was like, am I going to say it? But did she not? I mean, in the orange juice, I was
yeah. And
like,
I was like, I don't know, like, where did this fight come from? And then, like, would you have said the Erica thing if you hadn't been drinking? Like, I don't know. But to get back to the Erica thing, you are right. Erica handled that very well. The same
did.
way Erica handled very well that Dorit kept bringing her up into the her and Kyle fight at the
She
first dinner.
did.
And Erica, I was like, ooh, she's gonna fly off the handle. And she remained very, very calm.
She was very calm. She was. Well,
Maybe
if
we're seeing
you
a new Erica
notice,
Jane.
huh?
Maybe we're seeing a new Erica Jane.
I think so. I mean, if you notice, she said also on this trip she was going to kind of chill out with the drinking because some of
And
her
she
former
did.
trips. So I think that might have helped her a little bit because the Erica Jane that we've seen before would have ate them up. So listen, be glad she put those cocktails down, okay?
But yeah,
And y'all,
that fight was just like awkward and like unnecessary.
it made Dorit look real, real crazy. But she's going through a tough time. And I was first thinking when I was watching, I was like, God, they're really gaslighting Dorit a little bit, like making it seem like she's unhinged and she's this, when she has every right to be angry with Kyle. And she even has a right to be upset with Sutton because she said that Sutton had a pattern of, coming at her. And then when she matched her tone, it would be like, oh, don't be yelling at me. I get that, but just feel like she's just ready to pop off at any minute on whomever, whenever. So I like it, Dorit, but you can dial it back a little bit so we can get through these episodes without a bunch of screaming on every single scene you're in. Let's chill.
Yep.
Yeah. So, guys, that was pretty much Beverly Hills. We, tune in next week. Dorit seems like she's still out for more blood on next episode. Y'all saw the previews. There is a little scene between her and Camille Grammer. I think she's Camille something else now, but
she just stays popping up, man.
Yes, she does. She does.
But you know what? Although like I don't like necessarily care for her, and I know she's like very, very like not liked, I would like love to see her back on like the show because I think that she just brings it.
She does bring it.
She is just the most unhinged, and I like it.
I like it too. It's very entertaining to watch. It is. So we'll get to see Dorit go at Camille. Kyle's having a party, and more to follow, y'all. So you'll have to come back next week for that. But now we're going to get into some Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. So, Joey, what'd you think of that episode?
Salt Lake City is just like having an 11 out of 10 season. I just think like it's the only one that's on like right now that I am just like excited to watch. Like Beverly Hills isn't bad, but I just like cannot wait. I wish that every episode was like an extended episode. I wish they would just drop the rest of like the season so I could like binge it.
Yes.
It's just so good. And like honestly, like they're all doing their own thing like so well.
I agree.
Which makes me a little upset because I do hope and pray that one day we will get Monica Garcia back. But I thought this season was going to be hurting without her. And I think that they might have known that. And they are doing everything in their power to prove the viewers wrong.
They honestly did because I was definitely like, yeah, because it was so boring without Monica had saved it. And then when they got rid of her, I was like, y'all just messed it up. But no, they brought in some heat this season. So listen.
Let me tell you, Bronwyn, that hire was so well done.
Agreed.
I don't know if like they really knew how well they did or if it was just like a fluke. But whew, she was born for this.
She really was. I mean, and each episode I'm thinking, okay, she's going to fall back in this one. No, sir. Bronwyn, she doesn't miss.
No, I was thinking, which I'm sure we'll get into, but in an argument with like Lisa, she's so well spoken. She never stutters. She never misses a word, a point. Like, oh, it's like poetry.
It is. It is something I aspire to be able to do because she holds her own, and not only holds her own. I mean, it's hard to match her wit and her words. I mean, she's really good at it. She is. So, well, guys, the scene opens up with Meredith testing scents for her bath bombs and products. And Seth asks her, look, what happened at the bar mitzvah? And she says, well, Brooks brought to her attention that Brittany was crying. And
Oh,
she
Brittany.
asked Brittany what was wrong. And she said that she was being slut shamed. And Meredith just wasn't here for it. Now, we're going to hear this a lot in the episode, too. I mean, I know Meredith, that Angie went at Meredith pretty hard, but I was like, the whole slut shame thing was just a...
Well, I feel like the punishment didn't really feel like the crime.
No.
And again, like they bring this up later in the episode, but like Meredith didn't like listen to any side of any story. She just was ready to jump at Angie like no matter what.
Right.
You
So this
know?
was
And to be honest, like Brittany's like no saint. They were both talking about each other. And like, I mean, I don't know. Plus, like, I can't stand Brittany. I think that
I don't like her either. And
I think that Angie's having like such a phenomenal season. So on this one, I'm going Team Angie. I
am too. And Brittany really pissed me off in this episode, particularly. That I was like, girl. But we'll get there, y'all.
Yeah.
So over at Angie's, her and Sean are also discussing the bat mitzvah over some yogurt. And she says,
I'm sure it was Greek yogurt.
Absolutely. What other kind is there? Good stuff. But she said she went with good intentions. And she's like, she invited us, to a religious ceremony. And she was like, you would, in other words, you would want to have people that you actually like or care about at something so serious. And she's like, but maybe she just didn't have friends, because she was like, I mean, Heather's plastic surgeon was there. And I'm thinking, girl, I was thinking the same thing last week, but there's that. And okay.
And it was like a very small ceremony and very small party. So for Heather's plastic surgery to be there was awkward.
Right?
Now that I think about it.
It was. And Angie just used that as a shady thing to say, like, I mean, one would think there would have been people that, but she's like, maybe she just doesn't have friends.
Angie got thrown out of the party, so shade away.
Shade away. And she says that she was heartbreaking and she doesn't know how she's going to go to Puerto Vallarta, but somehow she manages to get there, y'all.
So, shocking.
Shocking, right? Right. So Meredith talks about Angie making fun of her disability. And it goes back to the scene. Man, yeah, but you know what? I know a lot of people give Angie a hard time, but Angie cracks me up. I mean,
me too.
She gets mad when she says it is so funny to me. It may be mean, but I cannot help it.
I understand Meredith being upset. It was a very, very funny comment.
It was to her expense. So I definitely get why she was mad. I don't even remember who she was talking to, but she's like, take Meredith's hearing aids and turn them up and listen. She's so quick with it too. Listen, these are some idols on here. Like, I am just taking notes for real, ladies, because y'all can right off the dome. Like, I'm just like, girl, how do you do that?
I know. Off the cusp, I could never.
Could never either. And I want to get there. So keep watching. But anyway, she was like, how could you make fun of my impairment? And Brooks, her son, says, that's your superpower, Mom. So then we get over to Angie's house when Mary comes by. Mary lets herself in and scares the heck out of Angie when she comes down. She's preparing a charcuterie board. And Mary's like, it's beautiful, but I'm not going to eat it. Because, of course, she's going through some things. And so she finally gets a chance to tell Angie about what happened with Robert Jr. Yet again, I was tears again. Man.
Kudos to Mary, though. Like, talk about, like, a reality show and, like, sharing, like, your reality. Like, it is insane what she's going through. I'm sure
Yeah.
it happens to more people than we think, though.
Oh,
And she
absolutely.
is just bearing it all, open, honest, raw. It's so brave.
It is.
It's emotional to watch. I
Mhm.
love her and Andrew's friendship. I think it's like
Me too.
so real and like
Me too.
legitimate.
Yes.
And when she was like crying about how like she doesn't really have like a mother or a grandmother or whatever to like fall back on. I like this. I love that she like has like Angie and feels like that's like an outlet for her.
A safe place. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love, 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 love that. And I will say, I agree it's brave. And this is something that is, it's like an epidemic in our country and probably abroad, but um, it affects more homes and families than we'll ever know. It's affected mine, my family. And so the amount of bravery and the way I resonate and the way I think that way to go for her to use her platform this way. And to be honest, there's so many, I'm sure we've known some of the housewives that have dealt with it, that lost a child to it, in particular back in the day one. But for her to share her story, I truly believe it's going to help some folks. Um, and I agree. The way that Angie just handled her, and it's natural for a mother to feel like it's her fault. How did she miss it? All those things that we all felt it, would feel it if you haven't been in it. That's a real raw, real thing. And I again, I just think it was, even though it was really emotional, it was so great to watch her be that real and that transparent and
Yeah.
solidified her for at least, I mean, as long as she wants to be on the show, in my opinion. But um, there are some other things, I felt her despair. And I know that, a lot of people will talk about, people were wondering, like, where is her husband, Robert Sr.?
Yeah.
She said on Watch What Happens Live that he is supportive and he just did not want to be filmed because of, I guess, some beef he has with producers from when he was on before that he feels like made him look bad. So
He made
I
himself
guess
look bad.
he did make himself look bad. There's that, right?
Yeah.
I just think that regardless, though, a mother and a father process things very differently. And so her pain, despite, I guess he's supportive, she says, but I don't know. But still, even with that, I understood where she was coming from. It's different from moms today. Moms just feel like, the kids are an extension of us. And so I get it. She tells Angie she wants to go to Mexico, but she's gonna have to take care of her family, her son, and all that before she does. But y'all, spoiler alert, on the next episode, we get a snippet. She's there. So we later find out that Robert Jr. does go to rehab. And so she does join the ladies later on in Mexico. So anything you want to add on that scene else, Joey?
No, I just think it was just like a great scene. I think
Yeah.
that wasn't like, sometimes like, oh, are they acting for like the cameras? Like that was like not acting for the
No.
cameras. Like
Yeah.
I feel like they in like that scene they could have like forgotten cameras were even like there.
I
That
agree.
was just them. I think their friendship is so wonderful. It's so
I
like
do too.
legitimate.
I
I thought it was a beautiful, beautiful scene.
did too. I did too. So now we are at the airport. Heather is excited for the trip. Of course, you are thirsty.
Ugh.
Um, she
Heather
gets
serves no purpose this season, by the way.
none at all. At
No.
all. It's so dumb. She's doing it to herself. And I just, dumb move. But nonetheless, she lets us know everyone's on their best behavior. You never know that Angie and Brittany can't stand each other. Meredith and Angie aren't speaking. And Whitney and Lisa basically hate each other. Yeah. And she says, thanks, TSA. So there's that. So Bronwyn brings everybody gifts. We find
What
out
was the gift?
So they were passport covers, and they were by Judith Lieber, very high end brand. And then, listening to some other folks, Lisa was annoyed because she had also bought some, and hers were Louis Vuitton. Let me just say, I did my research. Judith Lieber is more expensive. Not that it matters, but Lisa loves to lead with that. So,
Yeah, but you can't trump the host on their own trip.
I know. And not it's particularly not a host like Lisa Barlow. Wrong move. If you cared about being in her good graces, wrong move. But we find that out. Then we find out, y'all, Bronwyn was bit by a dog. Was that not crazy?
Not bit. Like, she was like attacked. Those
Uh,
like bruises
yes.
and bite marks were. I was expecting
Brutal.
like, like a little like puncture, like some like redness, like, whoo, her whole arm, her whole leg. She was
Yes.
toe up.
She was torn up. I'm thinking, girl, and you are there. Listen, she had to go to the hospital, get stitches the whole night, and it looked rough over there. I was like, ma'am, that dog put a hurt on you. And they said the owner was just sitting in his car chilling on the phone. I'm like, lawsuit?
Yeah, make that money.
You don't
Not
need
that you
it,
need it, but make that money.
run me my money. Yes. I mean, that poor child, honey. But at this point, and let me just say this. You notice they were all at the airport, so they went to Mexico on a they went on a private jet. So Lisa, see there? But nonetheless, they fly over to Mexico. And at this point now they're in the Sprinter van and they've gotten their margaritas. And Lisa also is on it. She's got this trip planned out to a T. They get to the villas and they're greeted by Lizzie and Rudy, who's their butler. Again, everything is beautifully done. They have 4 bedrooms in each villa. So there's 2 identical villas.
What a resort.
Beautiful, was it not?
Oh my gosh.
Listen, I need a vacation. I have vacay envy like a mug. I'm like, whew, I got to go somewhere. Gorgeous. So she announces who's going to be in each villa. And that's where it starts to go left, guys. In the Villa 1, we have Meredith, Heather, Lisa, and Brittany. Much to Bronwyn's dismay.
Like, weren't you surprised?
Very surprised. I did not think it was that serious. I was like, you are going to put... Listen, Lisa. I thought, wow. In the next villa was Whitney, Angie, Mary, if she makes it, which we find out later that she will in the next episode, and Bronwyn. So think about it. For now, it would be Bronwyn over there with 2 people that currently just aren't feeling her. And that was mean, Lisa.
Yeah, but it's also part of the reason I love Lisa, because she's so in your face messy, and then she'll try to be like, oh, it wasn't like that. Lisa, girl, you knew exactly what you was doing.
100%. You think? I mean, she does good at deflecting, though. So Bronwyn is a little upset about the whole rooming situation, and but nonetheless they go to their villas. Angie comes in and they're with Whitney, and Whitney asks Bronwyn, how did she get kicked out of the Cool Girls Club?
Or as she likes to call it, the Mean Girls Club.
Or the Mean Girls Club, yes. Bronwyn doesn't know why she's been outcasted by Lisa. She did the flashback to talking to them. Oh, and that's one thing I wanted to ask you about, Joey. So the flashback, when they were talking about her daughter Gwen with Lisa and John, what did I miss there? Because I think I must have turned my head for a second.
No, because I felt she was saying she knows that I'm in this emotional place with her daughter Grace. Is it Grace or whatever? And
it was Gwen. Okay, maybe.
Oh, Gwen. Maybe
Gwen.
No, you're right. She knows I'm in this emotional place with my daughter, blah blah. Because we had lunch and I told her how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
And then it flashed back, and I was like, I don't think that's it. I think that Lisa's still mad that you put her in coach.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And not only put her in coach, was very unapologetic about doing so. So yeah, there's that.
I don't think Lisa's over the coach seat yet. 17C will haunt Bronwyn for a very long time.
I think you're right, honey. I think you are right. Yeah, so Lisa and Heather, Whitney says Bronwyn was so eager to throw her and oh yeah, Bron was saying how she was so eager to throw her and Angie under the bus to stay in Lisa and Heather's good graces. But look now, Whitney's right. I mean, I guess Whitney annoys me too. She and Heather can go do their own
Yeah,
spinoff that nobody will watch.
but like, so Whitney can be super messy, but Bronwyn can't. Like, you know,
Right.
it's like, girl, like, please, like, you are no saint. Adios.
Agreed. Agreed. So Lisa tells Meredith that she told Bronwyn not to bring gifts, by the way. And we find out that Lisa's very annoyed by it because she had already brought gifts. And I find out that it is Louis Vuitton passport covers. So I don't know. Lisa asked Meredith how she feels about Angie. And Meredith says she slut shamed and talked about her disability and she was over her. Meredith, I just don't think Meredith likes Angie. But I mean,
and
listen.
I just ride or die for Meredith Marks, let me tell you. I love her.
She is also great TV. She is peculiar in the best way. Mm-hmm.
She's so unusual in like the best way, and like the things she like flies off the handles about. Nothing, like I've always said, nothing I love more than an unhinged Meredith Marks.
Yes, and you never know when it's coming.
Show would be a little boring without her.
It would. I love everything from the way she changes her accent to the littlest thing has her flying off the handle, and she is so serious about it. I mean,
so serious.
Oh, so serious. And she is not here for the slut shaming and her coming for her disability. So there you have it. And so now Meredith asked Rudy the butler to take her gift bag and put it in Angie's chair. Listen, Salt Lake City is just giving and giving and giving. I said, oh, yes, ma'am. Yes,
I just love pettiness on these shows. I love like fun pettiness. I didn't think it was like, it wasn't like over like the top, it wasn't like aggressive. It was like the perfect amount of petty. Returning Angie's gift from like the bat mitzvah. I mean, it was just so good.
So good. And listen, I realize I'm gonna have some keratin in my life. Yo. I wear a lot of weaves and wigs, honey, but this hair underneath needs keratin, apparently. Listen, she said, you know, she can't use a shampoo and conditioner because she actually does have keratin in her hair. So she's like,
and that shampoo, and you own a hair salon, Angie, and you gave her a shampoo with sulfates?
You don't do that. Come on. Man.
I don't know. I can't speak from experience, but apparently that's like a rule.
Oh, yeah. There you go. So the ladies go down and there are margaritas waiting for them with Lisa's vodka and
tequila.
Oh, I'm sorry, tequila. What? Now you know.
Don't let her see that.
Listen, I know I'll be all the way. My photo op has just been revoked at the next BravoCon.
We're not getting an invite to the Lisa Barlow party.
No, we are not. Okay. My bad. Her tequila. So now y'all at the dinner, Brittany has an announcement. This child and her announcements. But she tells the ladies her daughter, Olivia, has spent the night and with her, and they're now talking and making progress.
Which is wonderful.
It's great, but they don't know her like that. So
like, read the room.
Right.
It's not the time.
It wasn't the time. It just didn't land. It was so cringe. And that's just Brittany's MO. She cringe. I'm like, girl, you're trying way, way too hard.
She is.
And I mean, child, but anyway. So Lisa asked if everyone liked their sweets. And Bronwyn tells Lisa it's weird that she put her in a suite with the two that aren't really, checking for her, aren't speaking to her. And Brittany says, well, maybe she likes me better now, which That's what I'm talking about. That's when I was like, all right, Angie, when it's your turn, go ahead and yeah, because she's getting on my nerves.
Yeah.
And Bronwyn doesn't really need any help anyway, but
No.
she doesn't. So Whitney says Brittany doesn't get, she's a pawn, and I agree. Because Lisa's not thinking about you, Brittany.
So obvious. Lisa doesn't care about Brittany.
Not at all. No.
No.
But she's too dumb to know it. And so Bronwyn addresses Lisa and says that, look, Lisa, take the bass out your voice.
That was a good one.
And,
That was a good one.
That was a good one. Yeah, it was. And she said, look, it's like normally people pick their rooms, like you had assigned rooms, like, it's giving, like you did this on purpose. And Bronwyn's like, look, I don't have a problem with the room, but, it's what's going on between between Lisa and Bronwyn that she has the problem. Yeah. And Lisa keeps trying to give that Bronwyn's ungrateful, which is not the case.
Because Lisa wasn't listening. Lisa has a listening problem. Maybe she needs Meredith's hearing aids. Because, you didn't take... If you heard the words Bronwyn was saying, she's not upset about the room.
No.
The room is like a metaphor for their relationship, which she's been saying for multiple episodes now she's upset about.
Yes. She doesn't want to hear it. No. She wants to make it about her being ungrateful. The room is beautiful. They're identical, and that is not what she's talking about. But just like you said, Joey, she's definitely could use Meredith's hearing aids.
But Meredith, we love you. Please invite us to your party.
Oh, yeah. We didn't mean that, Meredith. So, Lisa says that she's got this lack of gratitude again, and Brahma reminds her that she complained on her trip, and she was like, yeah, she's like, no, but she has a more lack of gratitude, and Brahma's like, I wanted to be with you, Lisa. And she was like, well, girl, you're right next door, but still she's not getting the point. Bronwyn said she wanted to be comfortable with the person that she knows the best on this trip. She calls her, she's like, instead you call me snobby and ungrateful. And Brittany's like, well, I'm not trading.
Brittany, stop talking and stay out of it.
Listen, I was like, girl, just wait to get what's coming to you, ma'am, because you're begging for it at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So they go back and forth, and now the table is ready. Another nice table, y'all. But Brahma's just not here for Lisa, making her feel bad about trying to speak her mind about their friendship. And then Angie discovers her Brooks Marks bag.
So good. Such good television.
So good. Oh my gosh. So she pulls out the gift. And Meredith says, well, you wanted it back. And so I give you your gift back. And so they flash back to Mary's party and their disagreement via Heather. But Brittany jumps in and tells her that she slut shamed her. And Angie throws the shampoo bag at Brittany.
It was an accident.
Well, it was an accident. That's right. I mean, it just accidentally flew out of her hand. I mean, I understand, Angie. I was here
honestly,
for it.
I wanted to throw something from my couch. She would not stop squawking. Just nobody was talking to her. Yeah, she had to keep injecting herself into the conversation. It was so over the top. Was so annoying. It was so clearly on purpose for a TV moment.
Yes.
Girl, sit down. I hope they don't re-sign your contract.
I hope they don't. God knows. From everything to that and her social media, she just tries to keep eyes on her, and I am bored. Girl, stop. Stop it.
Here.
Best thing you had going was the Osmond guy, and he don't want you either. He's sliding in Mary's DMs now. There you have it. Ciao. But anyway, so Angie accidentally slides the shampoo bag over towards Brittany's direction, and she's like, "You could use the shampoo because your hair is fried." Give it to her, Angie. And Brittany says, that she No, what is it? Oh, that she said that she slept with 15 guys. Now it's 15. It was 11, now it's 15. And Angie reminds her, honey, I just said 3. So get it right, okay? They flash back to Heather reading the note from Aaron. And Brittany said, they're saying that she wouldn't drink in a religious group. And Angie said, that's when Angie said that you wouldn't drink in a religious group, but you're effing 3 guys. Okay, that's what it was. I can't read my own notes, y'all. So Lisa says, look, why can't we talk? In fact, why do we have to lie? She just blurts that out. Meredith says that she goes below the belt, and Angie does. I agree with that. And Brittany tells her that she said she had slutty hair and cornstarch skin. I missed the cornstarch skin, but
I will just never recover from high body count hair.
I know.
I will be using that. I'll be using that for years to come.
That is so good. Me too. I mean, like Angie K, really, she will go down in history. That is.
I'm telling you.
Yes, high body count here. Listen. Woo. So Angie says, look, that she started it. And Angie tells Brittany she wanted to get through the conversation with Meredith. Like, shut up. And Meredith asked why. And Angie said she wanted to move forward with her. And it was her first bat mitzvah that she got to attend. And she did everything else right. And Meredith said, you didn't do everything right. You slut shame. God forbid. Again, here we are. And Bronwyn says, well, she started the slutty combo, meaning Brittany. And so she breaks it down. She said something to Bronwyn first about, well, if she says it, then that must be what she's doing with Sean. And that's how it all got down. And once it got to Meredith just, heard slut shame Angie and just choop. And Heather says it's hypocritical to not accept a bottle of wine as a gift when you drink wine. And it's also hypocritical to say you have a body count that matches your husband's when you have boyfriends. They are killing me with the body count thing. Y'all, listen. I did not know Salt Lake City had it in them like this. Yeah, they are just giving. And you would think, here they're supposed to have come up as the stringent religious, whether they're Mormon, whatever the religion is, they are the ones that they are bringing it. I'm
telling you, it is stellar television. Like Andy Cohen said on Watch What Happens Live, that he truly feels like any of them could have had a seat next to him at that reunion. And I really do agree. I do think it should have been Mary and Bronwyn.
Yeah.
If I was like a producer, but I mean, really any of them could. Like they are all just bringing it.
They are tearing it up. I am so impressed. I mean, and honestly, and I know they've talked about when Jen Shah gets released or whatever, I'm pretty sure she'll be back. I would be surprised if not.
I agree. I'd be surprised too, dynamics have changed. The show's different.
It is.
I don't know how that would be personally.
Jen can't punk everybody like she used to. I mean, they're stars within their own right now, and she'd be coming into their show. So,
and she's gonna come in, and Heather thinks that she's like the queen bee, even though she literally should be out the door. But like that won't go over well because that Jen Shah probably won't come back any like more humble.
No, absolutely not. No. So I'll be here for it, but I don't think she's gonna get the reception she thinks she's gonna get. But
I'd rather have Monica back over Jen Shah.
I would love to have Monica back. They did her dirty to not bring her back. I mean, and Heather and all of them united fronted on that, but they got it wrong. I hope. Bronwyn said that she'd love for her to come back. I think that would be a formidable
Imagine Monica and Bronwyn together.
Listen.
Magic.
Woo! I would completely. That would just catapult them. They're already like right now they're the queens of the franchise. So I mean that would I'm just saying now, Andy, listen up.
Mm-hmm.
So, at any rate, basically from there, Meredith and Angie get a chance to talk through their issues. Meredith lets Angie know she was triggered when she heard slut shamed, and Angie apologizes, and she says she didn't start. She wants her to know. Well, she didn't say it, but she was saying she didn't start the rumors about Sean, and she really feels like that's where the issues between her and Angie came from. Her thinking that she started the rumors about Sean being gay, but she said she didn't. Her and Angie seem to be like for now in a better place. That's kind of how we end that episode, which was, listen, the most entertaining. I was here for it, enjoyed every minute of it. I don't think I did it justice. I'm sure I missed a zinger or two, but listen, y'all get the point. The ladies, they don't miss.
They don't, I'm telling you. And I feel like the way it ended was so like nice with them apologizing to each
Yeah.
other. We don't see that very often. I felt like they like kind of like meant it more than
Oh,
we're
I
used to
think
seeing.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like Meredith Marks does not apologize if she doesn't mean it.
I don't think so. Not at all. I don't think she feels like she has to. So for her to say it, yeah.
Yeah. And like I just like I love them both. So like I want them to be in this like good place. I love Meredith. I love Angie. I just yeah.
Me too. Me too. I wanted to team up on Brittany, so I need them to get
Oh
along.
my! I wish everyone would just team up on Brittany and Heather.
I agree. I agree.
Like again, like right? We barely even mentioned her name in this recap because she literally serves no purpose. I'm telling you.
She really doesn't, except for a confessional here and there to add a point that nobody needs her to do anyway. She's just giving nothing.
No.
Yeah. So.
Yet thinks she's like the queen bee.
She legit does. She does. Like I said, she had her moment last season, and it just like, and you've said it too. It's gone straight to her head. And I mean, I think the weight loss has helped too. But I think she looks great, but she just needs to work on her personality because it's just not giving. I used to like Heather too. So there's that. So anyway, guys, slide in the comments and let us know what you thought of Salt Lake City. What were your thoughts on Bronwyn and Lisa, Angie Meredith, Brittany? Let us know what you think about Beverly Hills, Kyle and Dorit of it all, and all things Sutton and Dorit in that big kerfuffle. Just let us know what you're thinking. And we will be back next week. Same time, same place. You come join us. We're going to be recapping both. Joey, I'm gonna let you have last words.
I don't really have many like last words this week, except for the fact that I hope that next week on Salt Lake brings us the Lisa dinner, because from the initial trailer, I have been waiting all season for like the Lisa dinner. I cannot wait for the Lisa dinner. I hope that Beverly Hills turns up like a little bit because I mean they got some big shoes to fill with Salt Lake out there right now. Let me tell you.
You aren't kidding. It may be that if they don't start bringing it, we may do them every other and just have a double recap every other week. And Salt Lake is coming every week, so we'll have to see, honey. But yeah, y'all come back because I'm looking forward to next week's episode. Just yeah. But thank you guys, as always, for tuning in. And again, if you haven't yet, like, share, subscribe. You guys have a blessed night. Bye.
Bye.